Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka The Laird here, and today I have a book preview for you, and this is a little sneaky look at my new Amazon Kindle book, which is the Atari Lynx games book. And this follows on from similar books that I've done on the Lynx's great rival, the Game Boy, plus I did the Atari 7800 games book and the Atari XE game system games book. And these aren't available in print. They are books that were purely designed for Kindle. And you may remember that ages and ages and ages back, I did do a Kindle book on the Lynx before the A to Z of Lynx games. This is quite radically different. I'm sure there are going to be some people who are going to go, it's the same book, you've just redone it. No, it's not the same book. It's radically different. Different games in it, different reviews, different text. Everything about it is different. It's not remotely the same book. So let's get that out the way first of all. And it very much follows the same format as those other books I just mentioned for the Lynx, the Game Boy, the 7800 and the Zegs. So it starts off with an intro and then it goes into lots of games. In fact, actually talking about those previous books, it's probably set out like the most like the 7800 book, because or the Zegs book I think I did kind of similar, but mainly the 7800 book very similar in the fact that I've got a section on commercial games, a section on prototypes, and a section on homebrew. As you'll see, as it's a preview, of course, I'm not going to show you the whole book. I'm just going to show you some bits and pieces. But yes, as I say, it starts in an intro, which has got obviously some pictures of the Lynx 1 and the Lynx 2. And then it goes into your commercial Lynx games, which starts, of course, with All Points Bulletin, aka APB. So that's the first review there, and it just goes through like that. So obviously then it goes into Awesome Golf, so it's all in alphabetical order. Skip ahead there, we've got Pac-Man Returns, of course. I'll just show you with that. I mean, each review is across 2 pages, so there you go. So you've got quite a long review for each game, with 2 screenshots, one a title screen, one in game or whatever. Some of them are both in game, along with obviously the year and the publisher. I say the publisher. There are some where I've not put the publisher, actually put who made the game, because there's a lot of Lynx games who are kind of, they're by Atari and, let's just say, handmade software, or Atari and Imagitech Design, so where they kind of cooperated with other developers to release the game. So where the developer is significant, I've put the developer's name instead. You might see some examples of that actually. Awesome Golf is one there, so I've put handmade software obviously. So it goes through. We've got third party stuff like Beyond Games, there's Battlezone, there's Bill and Ted. Skip ahead a bit, of course we've got California Games, Checkered Flag, Chips Challenge, there's Desert Strike by Teddy Games, there's Double Dragon by Teddy Games, there's The Amazing Dracula the Undead. Let me just scroll down the index. I'm using the actual Kindle program to show you this book. There's Electrocops, we've got all the launch games in there, Gates of Zendikon. There's Hard Driving. There's Hydra. So kind of go through the commercial games a bit. Clacks. Where I did have to, with the vertical games, the screenshots are annoying, so I have put them on their side. But of course, in the Kindle app, you can actually rotate them, so I didn't really see this as a problem, because you can just rotate it if you want to have that the right size yourself. Malibu, there's Pac-Man, Ninja Gaiden. Go through. There's Paperboy, there's Pit Fighter. There's Kicks, there's Rampage, there's Road Blasters. Shadow the Beast, Steel Talons, and Stun Runner, of course. My intro music, of course, comes from Stun Runner on the Lynx, although lots of people don't seem to recognise it. And I get Welcome Bum Rubber, Welcome Gun Runner, all sorts of stupid things. What was it? Welcome My Lover, someone thought it said. That was one of the more bizarre ones. There's loads of really bizarre things that people think it said. I should actually be funny actually to make a video on all the things that people think that it says in the intro to my videos. And I do get the odd person who moans that I've had the same intro to my videos for years. And I ran a poll on the channel recently actually to say, should I change the intro music? And it was overwhelmingly no, don't change it. So there we go. There's Todd's Adventures in Slime World and Toki. There's Chess, there's Viking Child, there's Warbirds, there's Xenophobe, the game I got with my Lynx when I bought it back in the day. I loved my Lynx so much. I got it from Dixon's, and by the time I came around to getting it, I was all thinking that I'm going to get California Games with it. And then when I actually went to buy it, I had a Dixon's exclusive thing where you could buy it with any game for the same price. So it was that time the Lynx was $129.99. But what Dixon's were doing was it was the same price, $129.99, but you got the Lynx, a game of your choice rather than California Games, and the power adapter, which was excellent. So I got all three in one package, which was great. So I would have bought a power adapter anyway. Zybot's Solar Mercenary, that finishes off the commercial section. Then we've got prototype and aftermarket. And the reason why I've said prototype and aftermarket is because there are some games that are prototypes that were never properly released, never properly finished, but you can buy reproductions of them or whatever, or download the ROMs. There's some prototypes that were finished and released later by, say, Songbird or Telegames, and so they don't really work as homebrews. So I've called them aftermarket releases. So, for example, something like Lexis would fit into that category. So there's Alien vs Predator, Bubble Trouble, for example. So Alien vs Predator is a genuine prototype. Bubble Trouble is an aftermarket release because it was finished but never released. Telegames picked it up and released it in 1994. I mean, it's a funny one, Bubble Trouble, because you could argue that it's an official release and it should come under the commercial games, because it was released within the Lynx's life in 94. The Lynx wasn't discontinued until 1996. And Telegames were an official third-party publisher, but it was never released with a proper box. So maybe that's what puts against it. And it was never really sold in shops apart from Telegames' own shops, because they did have a chain of their own shops. So I don't know. You can argue that one. Cabal, which is an unfinished prototype. Centipede, there's Cybervirus and Songbird, which is it was a prototype that Songbird finished themselves. Originally done by Beyond Games, of course, who did Battle Wheels. There's Damon's Gate. There's Eye of the Beholder. Fat Bobby, Full Court Press. So there's loads and loads and loads of prototypes in here. There's the mythical Guardian Storm over Doria, the long lost Lynx RPG. There's Lode Runner. There's Loops. Lynx Poker. There's Raiden. Road Riot Relief Picture. Rolling Thunder. Vindicators. So lots of stuff in there. And then we go into Homebrew Lynx games. I've got 2048. There's Alien. There's Alpine Games. Anti-A-bomb aircraft artillery. Bloody long title for that one. Assembloids, Berserkoids. Loads of stuff in here. So we've got Championship Rally in there. There's Crystal Mines 2 Buried Treasure. I wasn't really sure which category to put that in, really, under Homebrew or Aftermarket, but I ended up putting it in Homebrew. But it could be argued either way, I suppose. Fission, there's Flappy Bird, Growing Ties, Jelly Beans, Jungle Jack, which is basically Pitfall, The Amazing Looks and Sign 3D, I wish they'd done more with that. Mortal Kombat, one of the most impressive homebrews released for the Lynx, without any doubt. The brilliant Pokemania, one of my favourite Lynx homebrews. I love Pokemania so much. Such a brilliant game. There's Remnant by Songbird. Sky Raider Redux, a brilliant recent homebrew, fairly recent, which is basically River Raid for the Lynx, and it's fantastic. Traffic Jam. Wyvern Tales, which is the Lynx RPG that everyone always wanted. Finally has a decent one in the modern day. Had to put that one in there from 2021, so another quite recent one. Another quite recent one there is Zump. And we've got the Yastuna games in there. There's Zaku, of course, which you'd expect to see in there. And some other stuff. I mentioned, obviously, those 3 books which use a similar concept to this one. The other games books. So, yeah, so this is it, really. That's all there is to show you with this book. I've kind of been through it and shown you what it's all about. So there is over 150 game reviews in there, which is a pretty significant amount, I'm sure you'll agree. And yeah, it's available now to purchase from Amazon and Kindle store worldwide. Price is different depending on your country. I think it's £3.99. I think it's $4.49 in America. And I think the euro price is the same, $4.49. But different European countries have different taxes which change the price. So don't quote me on that because it could be different depending on what your location is. But certainly the American and the UK prices obviously are set. They include the tax. So $3.99 and $4.49. So it's little bit more expensive than some of my other Kindle books, but you know it's a pretty big book. It has a lot in it, so I think it's well worth the price in my opinion. But you know I made the book, so therefore. But yeah, there aren't many books for the Lynx out there. Obviously, almost nothing really. I think I only know of kind of one really, and that's very, very, very expensive. I think it's about £50. So yeah, and when I first showed the preview for this book on my YouTube, the first question I was getting asked by lots of people was, is there going to be a print version? So I'll address that point before I end. Yes, I do want to do a print version with, you know, developer interviews in it and historical stuff and all of that in there. That is part of my plan, is to do that. Is something that I very, 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 very much want to do. But there will be a lot more work to do on it to turn it into a print book. It's not saying I'm not going to do it, because I am. I just don't know when that will be. I don't like to promise when I'm going to release stuff, because I tend to flip between different projects and it depends on other work that I've got going on. But yeah, I do want to make a print version of it at some point. I want to sort of up the reviews, maybe add sort of like another, I don't know, at least 50 odd homebrews. There's plenty more left that I can cover. And I might do a section, say, on Lost Lynx games as well. I think that could be fun. Get plenty of developer interviews in there as well, of course. So yeah, it is something I would like to do. So look out for that sometime in the future. As I say, I don't know when it will be, but that's certainly something I do want to do. So yeah, but that's it really. There's not much else to show you or talk about. So that's the Atari Lynx games book. That's a little preview of what it offers. So if you've got a Kindle or not, because you don't have to have a Kindle to read Kindle books. I tell people this all the time. There is a free Kindle app that you can get for PC and for mobile phones. You can download that. You don't actually have to have an Amazon Kindle device. There are lots of different things you can read Kindle books on. So go get a copy of this book, no matter what your platform is, if you're a Lynx fan, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. But as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Bye bye.